Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really wonderful, delicious hip opening stretch for us. This is a great complement to any lower body workout, but especially if you have been following along to any of my lower body or booty workouts, this is going to just be just the thing that you're going to want. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're gonna go ahead and begin with 90-90 knee. Lean back to modify. I don't want you to sit into your shoulders, push up and down. And then we're just going to windshield wiper side to side with our knees. This is a slow and controlled movement. If you can get this knee down, your following knee all the way down to the ground, that's great. If you can't, that's okay also. I don't want you to force anything. You shouldn't feel any pain in your knees. Be sure to keep your ankles flexed. That will protect your knee as well. See, on this side, my knee doesn't go all the way down. I have an old injury there, so I have a little bit less range of motion. I'm not forcing anything. Now, as you do go side to side, I want you to think about actively pressing the leading leg out and pressing the following leg in. You're using your lateral hip to press out, to abduct, and then you're using your trailing leg to adduct or to come in. Okay? It's just a really great hip opener. And if you have the core strength, if you want to try and up-level this mobility, you can also try and do it while sitting up. This is going to require a little bit more core engagement, and you're really going to have to focus on articulating through that hip socket and really pressing out with this leg and then in with this leg. Okay, so we'll go one more side to side, and then we're going to go ahead and go into a classic pigeon stretch. And now we'll come over to the left and we'll hold. Now, as you sit here, I want you to think about dropping your hip down, re-engage your core, and now you can begin to hinge forward. If you have the mobility and you want to go for a full pigeon, then you're welcome to extend that back leg and come right up on center, so kind of come up to the center. If you have the mobility, feel free to hinge deeper. Don't round over. You're going to lose the stretch here. I want you to keep your core engaged and just hinge. Go down as far as you can go, but it's okay if you don't go down too low. This is a really good hip stretch for you right now. If you are in that full pigeon, go ahead and come back up. Go ahead and come back to that 90-90, and I want you to thrust your hips up, activating your glutes, and go ahead and sweep your leg forward into a lunge. Now, in this lunge, if you find yourself a little wobbly and you need a little bit extra support, you can go ahead and widen your stance here. You can also, if you have on hand, you can use a yoga block, or I like to use my foam roller because when I'm in this lunge, it's a little bit taller, so it's easier for me to use this for support. Now, in this lunge, what I really want you to think about is keeping that square hip, engage your core, maintain that neutral spine, don't let your chest fall forward, keep your chest lifted, core engaged, and a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. Because as you go into this lunge, I want you to think about shifting forward instead of collapsing into your low back. Getting a little bit of a stretch, but you're mostly just compressing that low back. I don't want that, that's not good. And we really want to maximize the stretch in that front hip while keeping our spine safe. It doesn't look as impressive. You're not getting down as low, but the stretch should be much deeper. Hold it for just a few more moments. Excellent. And now we're going to go from this hip flexor stretch into a bit of a hamstring. So I'm going to pull this was right here. Now I'm going to put it out in front of me a little bit, and I'm going to hamstring stretch. Now, as you go back, you might find that your hips are uneven like this. I want you to drop it down, square hips, keep your toes up toward the ceiling, core engaged, and again, we're going to hinge forward. Now we're going to bring this into a bit of a dynamic movement. Okay, so we're going to drop down into a little bit of lunge, and then a stretch, and a lunge, and a stretch. And if you need a little bit of an elevation, you can bring that yoga block or the foam roller, and you can come right here. You also inhale as you go down, everything's opening, and then exhale into the hardest part of the work. And now what I want you to do is come out to the side for an adductor stretch. You'll note that my core is still engaged, okay? I still have that nice neutral spine. I'm not arched, I'm not flexed. I have that nice neutral spine. And also notice that my toes are tucked under here. Your big toe is really important for balance. It's also really important for power. If you are doing anything with jumping or you're into running, you need a really strong and mobile big toe. So this little stretch might be surprisingly intense, and that's good. I want you to lean into it. You can actually shift your weight back. As you shift back, you'll actually feel more of an adductor stretch. Now there's a couple different things you can do with your foot. You could be out here. That's gonna change which adductor you're stretching, and actually you can get a little bit into the hamstrings. Still adductors, but not as much. I want you to have that rotated forward. So the rotation is not from my foot, it's from my hip. I'm trying to keep my foot down flat. And then the more you sink back, you should feel a nice stretch. Okay. Now sometimes when I'm here, I like to do a little bit of a cat stretch. Oh, it feels so good. You can feel that stretching between your shoulder blades. And then inhale, drop down and into that cow stretch. Should feel really good. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Inhale to that back extension, cow stretch. Excellent. And now we'll come back to our knees. We'll go ahead and go back onto our bum and do those windshield wipers again, and we'll stretch the whole other side. So if you want to bypass the supported position and go right up to the balance, you're welcome to do that. If you want to skip the balance entirely and be completely supported, I support you in that decision as well. We already got pretty much most of this mobility going. We should have a really good open hip, so we're going to go once more to the left, and then as we go to the right, we're going to go ahead and come right here, drop your hip down, and then begin to hinge forward. If you have the available space and you want to do that full pigeon, I support you in that. Just make sure you come up to the center as much as you can. You should feel really wonderful stretch on the outside of your hip. You can bring your foot forward, keep your ankle flexed, that protects your knee, and then come up and hinge. Go ahead and take one more deep breath here. If you are in that full pigeon, go ahead and come back to that bent knee. Go ahead and thrust up and then into that lunge. Perfect. Now, remember, if you have that foam roller on hand, go ahead and reach for that now. Grab mine. And now remember, we want to engage our core, slightly posterior tilt in that pelvis, chest up. We want to shift our weight forward. Make sure you squeeze that back glute. That's really going to give you that added little stretch in that front hip. One more exhale. And now I want you to straighten that front leg, drop the hip. Remember, it might be up here. I want you to drop the hip, core engaged, toes up, and hinge forward. This hamstring is a little bit tighter for me. That's okay, just breathe into it. Deep, deep exhale. You should think about leading with your chest in that hinge. Okay, core engaged. And see how I'm just using this for gentle balance, okay? Like my hands are just kind of resting here. I'm engaging with my core. go into that bit of a dynamic movement, okay, where we're going to come in to that lunge and extend and hit. Oh, this moving stretch feels so good. Now I want you to do it with your breath. Okay, I'm inhaling and exhaling on the deepest part of the stretch for me, which is right here. We're going to do it one more time, and then we're going to go into that adductor stretch. Perfect. So now I'm going to move this aside and go into adductor stretch. Under that foot. We don't want it out here. That's a different kind of a stretch. Today I want it forward. Let that rotation come from your hip. Foot down. Core engaged, and press that weight back into your big toe. Just breathe. I have my fingers tinted here. Just light support. And I'm actually pushing back a little bit. And I honestly, for me, my adductors are pretty open, pretty stretched out. My hips are pretty good. I feel this mostly in my toe. That's where I feel most of this stretch. So this is a really great stretch. So go ahead and shift forward a little bit, and now we'll go into that cat and cow. So press forward. Feel that space between your shoulder blades. And inhale, control, double back extension. Don't dump into your low back. That's not what we're doing. This is a control extension. I want you to keep that neutral alignment and fire up your back. I just forgot what they're called. Your erectors, there we go. Your erectors, okay? So it doesn't have to be a big movement, but I want you to feel the muscles along your spine really engage. Okay, go ahead and exhale. Into that cat. Oh, feels so good. And inhale, double control, double back extension. Back, come to your knees, rock to your bum, and we'll just finish up with those 90-90 knees right back where we started. Just notice how much more open your hips feel. Okay guys, so that is what I have today for our nice hip opening stretch. Now this stretch goes great after any lower body exercise, but I did specifically curate this to complement this workout right here. So if you're looking for a really great lower body burn, this is an excellent video to check out, and then you can come and replay this video over and over again. Thanks so much. See you again later. Bye.